Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I know I haven't done any produced content in a while, been pretty busy just with life and prog and trying to do some high keys, but I am back with a produced video. This time around it's from our Silken Court re-clear from last night. I ended up getting a rank 22 parse for Arcane Mage, which put me at rank 2 Arcane Mage in the United States, which is pretty fun. But I figure I go over the video just like I did with my Nexus Princess Kai'Veza kill from Prague. So the first section will have commentary over the decisions that I made going into the fight and during the fight to try and do as much damage as I could. And then some log review, looking at the actual damage that I did compared to some other top mages as well. And then the last part of the video will just be the actual VOD of the kill pull, just with our Discord comms if you want to watch that. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys back next time. Oh, love that. That's in our kill pull. You suck, shark. Hell yeah. All right, so a couple of things. I have transmitter. Use it on pull. I hate it when it's orb on pull. It's freaking terrible. Anything else is better than orb. The stand in the circle is the best. I almost lose the orb here. I actually didn't know where it was. I just kind of guessed and ended up being right. But yeah, we transmitter on pull. I do Arcane Blast into an Arcane Orb straight into the opener. The reason being for that is that if you are standing in the right position, your Arcane Orb will hit this boss's leg. Actually, you don't even need to do that. That's not even true. Because Arcane Orb gives you 1 when it's fired and 1 when it hits. So that's 3 plus 1 from Evocation and 1 from Arcane Blast. So all you have to do is make sure the Arcane Blast goes off after the pull starts so you don't lose the charge. And then you're at 3. So I'm instantly at 3 here because my orb hits this guy and that guy. But yeah, then you just Evocation. I'm over there to get my orb, and then I'm back over here, get my orb for transmitter, and then I'm back over here to bait the frontal. And frontal gets baited now. You could technically blink right now because the boss has already chosen someone. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It doesn't really matter. I did focus significantly less on using my defensives in these pulls. I didn't feel like I really needed it. But yeah, here we're just in burn. I usually try to like potentially save something for this rotation so that I can keep doing damage. So potentially save a clear casting or have an intuition or an Aether Vision 2-stack if I can. So I cast here, I get the barrage to fire out my intuition and everything, so I'm at max stats, and then I can barrage again, and then I can orb, do damage. I see that Tico already got my soak, so I don't even bother going over there. Just blink later to make sure I'm out of the way of the evokers. And then I'm just chilling over here. This is where I would usually mirror image and then shifting power. I would either mirror image or barrier, but since I'm not mirror imaging on pull anymore, I mirror image there. And then you're directly into your Touch of the Magi burn right when the boss does its charge. So the ideal scenario, the boss's thing lasts exactly 12 seconds. So doing this like as close to his charge going off technically is best. Technically it's even better if you do it like when he gets hit, but I'd rather not risk timing it too late and having the touch explode outside of his damage amp. So I do it like right when the charge goes off. So it's about a half second that it'll explode before his stun goes away. So I'm just blasting here. You can see like I believe this is his stun, this is touch, so yeah, half second. I'm basically maximizing it about just as much as I can. Yeah, 0.6 seconds. That's as good as it's gonna get. And then we hit here and we're gonna rotate again. We're doing the Northern Sky strat, so we have a blue and red 3 people in middle that just switch with each other. So we're going to rotate here. This is the part where I do the least amount of damage usually, because we have to go from mid to the wall back to mid. We have to get to the wall because we want to bait this frontal here, this one. And I could already see that it was targeted over there, but we want to bait this frontal over here so it doesn't go through mid and like hit the red people or anything. So this is a lot of movement. I didn't need to use my altar there, but I did it just in case the frontal was going to be pointed like over here and then I could go soak again. Ended up not mattering. And then we're going into our immune soak. So I actually barrage there, which I shouldn't have. So I have like 2-stack here, I barrage, and then I do 1, and I arcane missiles, and I should have just stopped and casted another arcane blast, but I barrage for some reason. I don't really know why. But yeah, then we're in our immune soak. Thought about trying to get another cast off, but it wasn't worth it because dying to this is stupid. You stay immune for the frontal, and then you blast. I don't have any clear casting here, so it felt pretty rough because I know I have to do this large movement. And then I'm doing no damage here, but I'm not really worried about it because I know the most important thing is coming up, which is the burn, my big burn with evocation during the boss's damaging up phase. So you'll see me get like 1 or 2 casts off here. You'll also see that I like press my transmitter as I'm soaking this orb. So you'll see like the buff here. I have a MRT reminder reminding me to transmitter. Boom, I press it. It tells me jump 3 times because I know I'm about to blast during this thing. So I get a couple casts off here, evocate, do 2 jumps during that, and then boom, final jump, pot, and I'm blasting. I should have arcane barraged there, but I didn't react fast enough, and that's fine. So I just hold the intuition proc for the missile so that I get an intuition and 1/8 vision buffed barrage. Unfortunately, I didn't get a time anomaly lust proc here, which I did like 1 or 2 pulls earlier, which had me like insanely high coming out of P1, but that's just the luck of the draw. But yeah, get a good burn in here. Jump up to 2.4 mil aug buff. What is it actually? Damage done. At what point in time is this? This is 202. So at 202 with no augs, and I don't know if I'm aug buffed on pull, to be honest. 2.13. So yeah, I'm definitely aug buffed. But about 250k less than what that shows, but still very good damage. And then we go straight into intermission, and you'll see that I shifting powered there before we have to do all this running, and then I'm going to immediately touch the Magi once it's up, save a clear casting so that I can do this movement while doing damage, because if you don't have a clear casting here, then you're just like walking, which sucks. So I would actually save a clear casting there, but I had 2, so I didn't really have to save anything. And again here, you kind of want to save something if possible. I actually didn't have anything. I just kind of got lucky with an intuition proc, so I can send that with a barrage. And then barrage again to use my orb, walk over. This is where we're pushing intermission at the perfect time, so we never have to hold anything, we just blast, which makes Arcane Mage CDs line up perfectly for this fight. Okay, so then we're just going to come in here, and we're just doing like regular rotation stuff. These timers are wrong. I actually had this for the wrong fight. This is for... I don't even know what fight, to be honest. This looks like it's for like... Sikran or something. Like, it's like completely wrong. So these timers were all wrong, unfortunately, but the MRT reminder timers are right, the ones that show up in the middle of my screen if you're watching that, which is also like these texts are also MRT reminders. So these are my like ray leading reminders, and I also have damage reminders on top of them. But yeah, so we just beta frontal here, we move off of it. I try to have a clear casting or something so I don't just have to like blink out and blink back, because I want to save my blinks for the next part of this. But then we're going to get pulled in here, so we're into a lose spread. We get pulled in. I know we're going second because red went first, so we're going straight through. So I can get pulled in, blink, get a soak, turn around, and just start doing damage. I see that I have a dispel, which is a little unfortunate for me doing damage here. I should alter, blink into middle, dispel, and then alter back. I don't think I do that. I think I just blink in. Oh, I do. Hey, look at me. Okay, and at the same time, so I actually do that properly. My dispel was a little late. I probably should have just dispelled myself. There was also a frontal going on there, and I get hit by the frontal, so I'm actually lucky I just didn't die. I just happened to be at like full health here. Yeah, this frontal ends up hitting me though. I should have just dwarfed and dispelled myself. But I was just trying to be a good person and wait for the dispel like I'm supposed to. I get PI'd here. I'm supposed to get PI'd during the burn. This PI is early. As you can see, I haven't even evocated yet. Usually this would be a PI on my Arcane Surge. But, you know, that's the way it is. Sometimes that happens. So you just gotta play it out. So I get knocked there, and I'm going into my burn. I Spy Masters. This is my Spy Masters PI burn here. So actually, when I enter my cooldowns, I only have about 8 seconds left, maybe 7.5 seconds, so I'm missing about 4.5 seconds on my Touch of the Magi. But as we can tell, like, it's gonna be fine. So I'm blasting. I'm trying to be in mid here because I know our Evoker is trying to buff me, and I don't know if I actually get in range or not. But I'm just going through my usual rotation here in CDs and everything, just building and spending Nether Precision, Aether Vision as fast as I can. And you can see that that went very well. 2.85 is about the highest I've ever been coming out of this. And this is a key point in this fight, actually. You still have Lust rolling, and there is still a damage amp on this boss, because I'm actually starting my damage amp really early. Or I'm starting my damage early in the damage amp. And there's a reason for that. And it's so you can get your damage back up again, like going out of this phase. So actually, like, I touch the Magi. We still have 2 dispels left onto the boss. They nerfed the boss today, so there's only 4 dispels instead of 5. But we still have 2 dispels left onto the boss, and the boss is just now starting casting. So I'm not actually going to get full touch the Magi value into like the 100% DPS increase, but it's better for the timings of the fight to get this off a little bit earlier, so that you have them right later on in the fight. So yeah, I'm blasting here. I'm blasting earlier than you would think to do it, but you still get a damage amp. Like, I start blasting at 50% damage amp, I finish blasting at the 100% damage amp, so it's still going to be worth it. But throughout this entire time, you have Lust. There's a damage amp still going on. Normally you would shifting power relatively quickly after your like Siphon Storm buff runs out, but I don't want to do that here. I just want to keep blasting like as long as I can, because I know I have Lust, I know I have some buffs going. I'm just like rolling everything, and then I shifting power, because I want to shifting power before these frontals happen, because I have to move for that. But I want to do it as late as I possibly can so that I can get as much damage into the boss first. So you'll see that I do that, get the shifting power off, then the frontals happen. I dodge, and then I'm going to touch the Magi as soon as I possibly can here. It's a little bit late, about 3 seconds late, because of the way the boss ported. Like, you just get unlucky with that sometimes. But yeah, I'm just doing damage to the boss here. This touch of the Magi, I don't really get that much damage off. It's more about just getting the CD out. And yeah, then we're just doing the fight as normal here. Nothing really important to call out. Boss ports to mid because more dispels are happening, and I didn't get a dispel, so I'm just doing damage. Baited the frontal away from mid so that nobody who's getting dispelled gets frontaled. And we're just doing damage here. The ideal would be one that you still have 5 dispels instead of 4, so that it takes longer to do the dispels, so that this boss is still in damage amp for later, because the whole reason that you CD early on the first set is because you get your CDs back up here towards the very end of the damage amp, so you get a little bit of CDs into the damage amp. I actually don't, because there's only 4 dispels now, and we dispel like pretty early, I'm pretty sure. Like, there's still 6 seconds left, 5 seconds left, 4. So we still had like 3 more seconds to milk, and I was like 3 seconds late on my touch of the Magi. So what ends up happening here is I don't get any of my damage actually into this second burn, which is unfortunate. But again, as we can tell, I got rank 22. It obviously doesn't matter that much. I use my transmitter here because I always forget to use transmitter before I start this burn. So I actually use it after I evocate here. And I think I get the unfortunate one of jumping, which is like the worst one to get mid-fight. No, it's collect orb actually. It was perfect, okay. So what I actually do here is I switch to a Nerub'ar to burn, because I've already missed the damage amp on Takaj. So there's going to be no point in me doing that. And Takaj is about to leave for Intermission. Intermission is starting in about 7.5 seconds. Touch of the Magi is 12 seconds. If I burn on Takaj here, the boss is just going to leave, and I'm just going to lose a ton of damage. So that is absolutely something you don't want to do. If you cannot get your CDs into the boss's damage amp here at the end of P2, you want to burn into a Nerub'ar. So that's what I do. I switch to a Nerub'ar here, and I'm just blasting. As you can see, rotation down here, I'm just blasting him. I don't really care what the other boss is doing. Blasting, blasting, blasting. And you see the other boss is gone. I still had about 3.5 seconds left on this, so that would have been like a horrible mistake to burn into the other boss. We're just blasting on Nerub'ar here. We're a little out of position because things were a little weird to us. But yeah. This phase, for the most part, I am just doing like everything I can to not get spiked. And then once like a set of rings finally stops, which is like the bar gets like 50% when the next ring starts again, when the next ring set starts, you shifting power. because there's nothing else happening here. So you can shifting power without any rings going on, and then rings start again once it gets to 50%. Ideally, you push right before this red line gets to the end, but we just weren't holding anymore, so we were just blasting. Touch the Magi comes up. I'm pretty sure I send it soon. Yep. So again, like 3 seconds delay, but it's not a big deal. And I'm just aggressively blinking here so that I don't get spiked, because that's the worst thing in the world right now. And we're just blasting. Nothing too interesting. I see that the boss is about to spawn here, so tip. Takaj spawns at wherever this little circle is after the intermission. That stays for like 5 seconds before he spawns. So I know red is going to be going over here. I also know that blue is going to need to be over here-ish. So I'm just moving away, making sure nobody from red comes and touches me. And I'm setting myself up to where I'm going to need to be for the next web vortex. So I even ping the spot for us to go to because I'm raid leading. That's my job. And I'm reminding us all that we need to be in a loose spread here so that we're not stacked up with all of our orbs. And I'm just doing damage. And right now I'm thinking to myself, which boss do I need to be burning on next? Because I kind of always forget what happens first in P3. The answer is a Nerub'ar. A Nerub'ar does his charge first in P3, which means he's the vulnerable boss first in P3. And the next part is going to be different depending on how good your guild is and when you expect the kill time to be. So I was actually wrong on this poll. And the kill time was not what I expected it to be, so I should have done something differently, but I didn't. And here we are. But I'll show you what happened. So I'm just damaging the boss, doing nothing interesting. I am holding my CDs because I will need to CD immediately after this. So I blink out of here. Usually I would go in and soak. I see most people are going to be able to get the soaks, so I just leave to go do damage here. So I am evocating as I'm running over. And then I am going to Spy Masters and burn here. So you'll see my Spy Masters was only at like 26. However, depending on when you kill the boss and what your kill time is, this is the last burn that you get with a big burn. There is another burn in this fight where during Race to World First, that is where like the huge damage amp happens because both bosses have a damage amp overlapping at the same time. We wouldn't get that overlap if a bunch of people didn't die. We actually killed the boss before that. So that means that this is the last burn of the fight that I actually get a full big burn on. So I send my Spy Masters here, or I plan to send my Spy Masters here, and I do. But that ends up being wrong because people die. So I actually could have sent later, but it's not a huge deal. So I send my Spy Masters here instead of Transmitter, and I made sure to do this movement. This is pretty sketchy. I didn't do this in Prague specifically because it was sketchy and I didn't want to get killed. And I knew that damage wasn't important to kill this boss in Prague. It was just living. So let's look at this one more time. So we get pulled in and we have to go do soaks. You should absolutely go do soaks. I don't do soaks because I know that they're going to soak it. And what happens here is red is going to be over here webbing the boss. Blue should be like on the wall side of the boss because after this, there's going to be a frontal baited towards red in the middle of the room, yada, 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 and red has to spread out with the webs. I do not do that because I want to do damage here. So in order for me to do damage, it's the same thing that mages do in P1, which is they're sort of in the middle of the room so that they can start their casts onto a Nerub'ar before he starts charging, because the debuff lasts 12 seconds and you need to cast Arcane Surge onto him, which is a 2-second cast minus haste, plus get your Touch of the Magi out, which is 12 seconds. So you have to start before he starts charging. So I'm running over here because I know he's about to charge over here so that I can start my thing and get my Touch of the Magi on him even early. This is pretty early, but it's better to get it on him than to miss it. I'm trying to stay out of the way because I know that they are like basically in the middle of the room with their webs. I don't want to get hit by anybody. And then I blink back over here because I know I got my stuff on it and I'm still casting. I actually think I missed a cast here because of this blink, so it was probably bad. I should have just waited for him to charge first. But I know that once he charged and he breaks this, our red team kind of gets funky and they starts like moving around and stuff, so I didn't want to get caught in that. So yeah, I actually did miss a cast there. I missed that Arcane Blast, but it's fine. And it was good that I did that, because then red is coming over here to follow this boss. If I had actually waited for the charge to happen, red would have seen this boss jump and they would have immediately started coming over here. and they would have freaking killed me. So I actually ended up doing the right thing. Like, playing it safe was better, and missing a cast is missing a cast. So I'm on this side of the boss now. Frontal is going to be baited onto red over here. So I'm just over here damaging, and I got really lucky that he jumped over here, because that means I don't really have to go anywhere, because blue team needs to be over here for the next web vortex. So lined up perfectly. So I'm over here, I'm pinging myself, telling blue to come over to me. I don't really know if they do, because they're too busy with the damage amp. But red gets pulled first, so it ends up being okay. Then we get pulled, we go straight through, and this is where you just break all the webs. There's not much to do here. I think I'm shifting power. Yep. Break your web, get some soaks, and then you are on Touch of the Magi. I know that we're about to do Dispels. I actually looked at my timer and saw that I need to move this weak aura, but saw that the big boom is coming, which means I know that we're about to do Dispels, so he's going to have a damage amp. So I Touch the Magi him. I don't think I actually get any damage into this damage amp. So again, like, I should have waited. If I really thought that this was like, that there wasn't going to be a big burn after this, I should have waited, but I didn't. So I'm DPSing here, and we're like super slow with the Dispel, but it happens, we get it off. And let's see, so like the second Dispel goes off right before my Touch the Magi explodes, so I end up getting 50% on the explosion, which is nice. But yeah, I didn't really get that much damage into that explosion. Ideally, you would do it later so that you do get more alter time here, because you're getting big AoE damage and the Dispels do damage at the same time. This is also a good place for Health Pot Hellstone. And we're just blasting here. And it's at this point that I realize the boss is a little high and I'm actually going to get another burn. It's not a big deal. So this is the difficult one to try and decide who to burn, because both the bosses are going to kind of go into bad places. So what I actually end up doing here is starting before the web pull, just so I can get going, and then just turn and just start blasting a boss. And I ended up picking a Nerub'ar, which may not have been the right play, because he's about to like charge away. Yeah, so I just lose all my damage on a Nerub'ar. I should have picked Takaj, but I didn't. So here we are. And then Takaj ports away, so then I'm back on a Nerub'ar, and the Nerub'ar has a damage amp. So I like lost a pretty significant amount of damage here by doing this weird like target switching shit. I will know now just to target Takaj if I'm gonna do this, because there's no... It's really hard to do the same thing on the second charge in P3 that it is on the first charge in P3, of where I would like get pulled in, leave for the charge. I mean, I guess I could, and I could try it, but actually I can't, because I have this Dispel. So if I had done that, we would have been screwed. So I actually needed to get Dispel here. So yeah, I should just target Takaj full time. Do I Dispel myself? I do Dispel myself, because the Dispel just wasn't happening. And then I should have just stayed Takaj. Actually, at this point, it would have just been smarter, but it's okay. I just end up blasting, and we actually end up wiping, because we have a different person than me doing the calls for Dispels since I'm in the raid. And I think we just thought that we would kill the boss before the Dispels fully happened, and we were wrong. I unfortunately had to send my ice block before that because of all that weird shit that was going on. Luckily, some people lived, and they killed the boss 2 seconds after. I lose a little bit of damage, like 20k or something, but it's not much. But yeah, that is the whole fight. Seeing this, like, this was the sketchy part, I believe. Yeah, so this was the weird shit going on. So I pop out here. I've still got the web on me. I should have done a better job of trying to break the web, but I don't. And then I get targeted by the Dispel. I realized that, like, I dodged in here on this ring, and I should have dodged over here, but I don't. I dodge in, so then I was like, shit, I'm in the blue circle. I don't even know if I'm gonna live with Invis, so I Invis and Ice Cold. So I end up taking no damage. I do drop an orb, that's my fault, but it'll be okay. But then I don't have any other defensives after that. Ideally, I would have dodged here, broken my web, and then I would have been ready for Dispels after that. But, you know, you make mistakes, you live and you learn. But yeah, it was a pretty good pull overall. Definitely good timings for Arcane Mage with the changes to not hold. And then overall, this is what it looks like, right? Rank 99, 2.188, or 99 percentile. Rank 22 at time of kill. We can check different phases. So I had a very high P1. This is significantly higher than most people I see. Intermission, low because I'm not doing any damage in intermission. P2 was pretty good, so we can check other logs as well. I had done this before, just comparing myself to the other top Arcane Mage logs. Always a good thing to do. Still didn't pass Gladrian by 40k, such is life. But just pulling the rank 1. Alright, pull 1 with no PIs. How many PIs did I get? 1? 1. Where's the top 1 PI? This guy. Translate. Please and thank you. So he's again like 44 DPS ahead of me. I think I would have passed him if I hadn't fucked up the ending, but I did. So 1.7 mil, so I was way ahead of him in P1. He does like 940k, so I was even ahead of him in intermission 1 by 60k. In P2, he does 2.3 mil, and I did 3 mil. So I was like way ahead of him at this point in the fight. This is actually crazy. I didn't realize I was like this far ahead. So if we go like all phases, I'm at 2.5 right now. And when do they get out of P2? Should be roughly the same time as us. All phases. One, take off 5 seconds. So he's at 1.9. So I am 500k ahead of the top person who got 1 PI at this point in time in the fight, which means I butchered the end of the fight. But it also depends on your kill time, right? He did an 828 kill time, so he gets a full burn at the end of the fight. That's a big, big, big difference. If you look at Lorgs, you'll see that like getting that kill time, you'll see how many people actually get that kill time. Or get that last burn. So that last burn happens between 8 and 8:30. Like, it is very split. Actually, it happens earlier than that if you're pushing earlier, which pretty much everyone who CDs at 3:15 is pushing earlier. So all of these people get that last burn. I wasn't planning to get that last burn, so I fucked that up. So I am significantly ahead. Like, I am at 500k ahead of him. What about the rank 1 log? Where do they end? P2 should be about the same time. Yep. So grab at 457. So I'm in competition with the rank 1 guy, and he got 4 PIs. 4 PIs. I am literally doing the same damage as him. He had 4 PIs at this point in the fight. I had 1. I don't know how many he had at this point in the fight, but I was 60k below him. Which is just huge damage. And then I royally fuck up the rest of the fight. So let's go intermission 2. What is this guy at? 789. Again, like I'm at 1.6. But then P3, obviously they just dumpster me, right? 2.43. And I get 1.8. So 600k less in P3 than that person. And for this guy, intermission 2, again, he's at 764, and in P3, he's at 3, because again, this like the last burn is massive. If you don't have that, he's not high at all, 1.4. So I messed up. That's my fault. I didn't think we were going to get the last burn, so I played it like that, and that was wrong. I should probably play it as if we're going to get the last burn and just see what happens.
That's a crazy raid leader message.
Dang, that's wild.
Where we realize ulti still has raid warning privilege.
Collect or stand in circle.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Didn't mean to. I thought we'd kill it in time.
Mirror images.
We were exactly 0.6%.
Heat Swift all over again.
It's okay, guys. Shift
Shifting
is
power
trying.
in 10.
Why can't more people live the boom? Just live.
Just live, though.
Saw we?
2,
Rotate.
1.
Touch of the Magi in 10,
Cody, I don't know if you're talking, but you are muted.
3,
Of course I am.
2, 1.
Naturally.
Like, I haven't heard Odie's voice in 20
Yep.
seconds. That can't be. That's not normal.
Yep. Okay.
You said you talk a lot, buddy.
That's true. That's exactly what it said.
barrier,
This is good side.
Odie's a yapper.
It's literally his job in Raid Night.
It is my job.
Are
Rotate.
you fluent in Japanese?
Use off the wall. And back to soak. Red could be gone. Blue's following.
barrier, immune stack,
This is immunes. Frontal, then web bombs. Then we can rotate.
shifting power in 10,
Jump 3 times.
arcane surge pot transmitter,
3, 2, 1.
Watch the crossers.
touch of the Magi in 10,
That's me.
Broom, broom.
3, 2,
Ciao.
1.
Yeah, I'm down to watch that movie after Raid. While farming PoE.
In me mom's car. I didn't remember
Everyone
Vine.
hit Takaj
Heckle.
here. Hits Takaj.
mirror images, barrier,
We blast.
Double on red.
Keep
arcane surge in
blasting.
10,
Good push. Finish soaking.
blue
Blue
frontal,
frontal.
left,
3,
Red can
2,
already get to your
1.
position.
Ciao, round 2.
Loosely
pull
stack
and then dispels plus frontals, right,
Dodge. Then we go back. Blue. Blue spread. Red first, left, right.
shifting power in 10,
Blue straight through.
Here, dispels next.
3, 2,
Odie
1.
in 2.
touch of the Magi in 10,
Celestic in
arcane
2.
surge spy masters,
Now. Sal
3,
in 2.
2,
1.
1.
Now. And Timrar in 2. 1. Now. And stack.
Stack up for
frontals,
frontals.
left, shifting power, port and pull then dispels, touch of the Magi,
Red left.
Blue right, blue right. Cross back over blue. Go wall mid.
red frontal while soaking,
Watch Arthas, watch Arthas. Arthas, you can't be there.
That was my fault. I was focused on breaking the web.
It's okay, it's okay. Just focus up. Red's got a frontal while soaking.
Bagel in 2.
spy masters web in 10, arcane surge in 10,
1. Now.
Blue
blue
made a
frontal
frontal.
bait away from mid,
Go in mid. In
3,
2.
2.
1. Now.
1.
Brain in 2. 1. Now.
Res someone. Make sure you're on the same color.
arcane surge transmitter,
Res one of the evokers on red.
mirror images,
Thurg is getting res on
shifting
that side.
power in 10,
Res another person. Just res.
Collect
Logic
or
on that
stand in
side as well.
circle. 3, 2, 1.
touch of the Magi in 10,
Blue, just kind of stay where you are.
Stacked.
mirror
blue spread.
images,
Blue spread, blue spread.
2,
Blue's gonna have to over rotate.
touch of the Magi,
Blue, make sure we get all the way over there and soak.
barrier,
And keep blasting, blue spread.
Spread here.
Watch out for Terra, blue team.
I'm a little slow. Yeah.
We're pushing now. Finish soaking. Red,
Where red's going.
red, look at where boss is.
Arcane Surge in 10.
Look at the pings.
Spymaster's Web in 10. Red frontal off wall.
So bait together
3,
here, and then you'll move
2,
right.
Blue's in mid.
1.
Not like mid of a room, but like mid side. Blue spread.
And loose stacks here for web vortex.
Pull in and red charge.
Get out of the boss hitbox.
We are keeping
spread.
these webs. Keep these webs.
Blue soak.
Red bait frontal mid. Arcane Surge Spymaster's pot.
Blue follow, red follow boss.
Frontal red side. Red, get ready for web vortex. You're right there.
Pull in.
Blue come
First
to OD
group
at the
mid.
pings. Blue spread.
Do not be stacked.
Blue
Do not be
spread.
stacked.
All break webs.
You break all of these. Get soaks.
And dispels will come next.
Red frontal while soaking. Shifting power. Mirror images. Touch of the
We will
Magi.
dispel Tico in 3, 2, 1. We will dispel Celestic
There's a blue
Dig
orb.
defensives.
in 2, 1 now. Terra in 2, 1 now. And Logic in 2, 1 now.
Use your health pot Healthstone here.
Red follow boss.
Boss is teleporting and rinse and repeats just like the beginning of the phase.
Red frontal bait off wall.
Red will follow boss. Teleporting now.
Blue will go
Blue
to the
in
middle
mid
of the
of room.
room. Middle of the room.
Baiting the- Red bait the frontal here, and then you move to the wall. Loose spread for web vortex.
2. Dispels wall. Arcane Surge transmitter pot.
Keep the webs.
Pull. Red right. Blue right / straight.
Red team. Dispel Booty in 2, 1.
Soak the red
now.
orbs.
We will dispel Illmage.
He's
in
teleporting.
2, 1. Now. We will dispel Cell in 2, 1. Now. Cell
There you go.
Brain in 2, 1. Now. Your immunities.
Go boss.
He'll die, not till I.
Thank you.
3.
All
That
right.
last second immunity.
Immunities.